Hello everyone, today I would like to make a video and telling you what my favorite type of silver is to own. And that would be the 90% silver dimes. Why? Because in an economic collapse, it would be the best form of silver to own in my opinion. People may not be taking silver bullion right away, even your 1/10 ounce rounds that some of you may find, feasible for economic collapse. People may not recognize those right away, but they will recognize your 90% silver. So the reason I like the dimes is because if you go to spend them for goods or services, you will get less fiat currency back as change. You won't have to worry about spending, a 1 ounce round if it's $250, and all you need is, maybe $10 or $15 worth of goods or services. So if you have your silver dimes, you can get a lot closer to the actual cost and just don't have to worry about, like I said, the fiat currency coming back to you as change and you being out of metal. So right now I will show you how many rolls of dimes I've got, and we'll go from there. Okay, there's all my dimes. Just thought I would show them to you guys. Now another reason I like them is because you can get a decent bit of silver for around spot price, and I've got most of these under spot. Versus your 1/10 ounce rounds, they carry a pretty hefty premium sometimes. So if you're trying to find cheaper forms of silver, because remember, silver's silver. So if you want to find cheaper forms of silver, go with your 90%. And don't just buy from the first place you find either. I mean, I've seen sites that are selling these right now for over $115 a roll plus shipping. That's just ridiculous. You can beat that price on eBay. But shop around on some of your forums. You can shop around on eBay. You might find a deal here and there. But yeah, go to your forums. I'll post a link down below, and you can check out bullionstacker.com. I've bought some of these dimes off of there. And I'm not a fan of the bigger bars. I had a 10 ounce bar of silver, and I traded it for 3 rolls of dimes. So I advise 1 ounce and smaller. If you want to hold a couple 10 ounce bars or so, that's fine. It's not really going to hurt you. But I wouldn't put a big chunk of my silver into 10 ounce bars, and I would definitely stay away from the 100 ounce bars, because those, when the price does skyrocket, you may have a hard time getting rid of them, and all you'll end up with, is a nice 100 ounce shiny doorstop, and that's no good. So if you stick with your 1 ounce and smaller, I think you'll be a lot better off. That way, when the time comes that you do need to spend them, you won't have to worry, like I said, about the fiat cash back as change. And another thing, the way I think this is going to work is the stores, like the gas stations and whatnot, they may not be accepting silver right off. Depends on how bad things go. But when fiat currency gets so hyperinflated that it becomes almost worthless, then you may need to take some of your coins to a dealer or sell them on a forum or even eBay or wherever. Get the cash and then go buy your goods and services. If you've got a dealer close to you, that'd probably be your best bet, because you'll get the money, in hand. But otherwise, if you don't need the money that fast, but you do have an upcoming purchase that you know of, then go to one of your forums. I mean, I've bought some silver off of them, traded and everything. Just look at the person's feedback. The one I deal with, Bullion Stacker, they've got a feedback system sort of like eBay. They just say, this person's done 10 transactions and are 100% or whatever the case may be. So that's a pretty good person to deal with. They've dealt with others, and so if you got any doubts, just give them a phone call. Ask them for their phone number and give them a call. And what I advise is, when you do make a buy, sell, or trade with somebody, jot down their information. That way you can build you up a pipeline, kind of like a little black book. That way, if you ever need to buy again, then you'll know this person has whatever item you may be interested in. Or if you need to sell, and that person bought from you before, maybe he'll buy again. And the best one to keep track of is if you traded. because you may want to do another trade in the future, and you know that that person will more than likely trade with you. So your forums are a real good place to go. And I also, like I've said, buy your dimes. That would be the best bet for economic collapse, or even when silver does get real high. If there is no collapse, it'll be easier to sell because people will be looking for the small weights. They might not be able to afford, say, $250 for an ounce of silver, so you can sell them a mercury dime. So just buy your small weights. They'll come in handy in the future. And if you don't believe that a lot of people are getting out of the larger weights, go to that link, bullionstacker.com, and just browse around. You'll see a lot of people on there, gold and silver both, wanting to get rid of, say, their 1 ounce gold coins trade for fractionals. Or they might have a 100 ounce bar. I've seen guys try to trade a 100 ounce bar for 90% silver. I mean, it's just, that's a wise thing to do, is to get your fractionals. Like I said, they'll come very handy when everything hits the fan. Plus, I think if you need to bug out and get away from where you're at, it'd be a lot easier to grab some small gold coins if you've got any, or some 90% silver, than it is to have to grab a bunch of 100 ounce bars and move those around. Because if you've got a family and a few people, your family got to bug out with you, and you've all got to walk to wherever you're going, you can split it up. Somebody can carry so many dimes that they can carry, the next person can carry some more. But if all you got the 100 ounce bars, then you're stuck carrying a 100 ounce bar. So I would just advise to stay away from the large stuff. I mean, even if you go to eBay, you can look on there. The 100 ounce bars are not bringing as much money per ounce as your 1 ounce rounds. And also, those that say, oh, in an economic collapse, that all you want is the American Silver Eagle. Well, I don't believe that a bit, for the simple fact, even if we would get all the Silver Eagles ever minted, bring them back to the United States, because a lot of them are overseas in different places, bring them all back to the United States, there's still not enough of them for each person in America to own one. So if they say all they want is a Silver Eagle, don't believe that. I mean, buy what you like first off, but I would not put my money out there on the government rounds and pay that high premium, because they're all going to go to the melting pot. I don't care if you've got, generic round with a frog or a goat on it, or you got a Silver Eagle, Canadian Maple, Philharmonic, whatever. It's all going to get melted. When the industry wants it, they're going to get it, and they're not going to care what's on it. They're going to melt it down into 1,000 ounce bars, and then whatever they want to make out of them, that's what they'll do. Because silver is in everything. From your cell phones, the camcorder I'm using here, your laptop computers. I mean, it's in everything. The application of plywood, windshield in your car. I mean, silver is in everything just about. So when the industry needs it, they're going to get it, and they're not going to care what's on it. It's all going to go in the same melting pot, and they'll make their products. So that's why I would advise buying your cheapest forms of silver as well. Why I like the 90%, because it's cheaper. You'll pay a lot less premium for it. So why would you want to put an extra, $2 or $3 an ounce out there? Then when you go to sell it, that's $2 to $3 extra dollars that you could have put toward generics and added more ounce weight. So I just would stay away from the government stuff. I know I'll probably get a lot of slack from people out there for saying this, but I would stay away from the government stuff. I mean, if you like it, fine, but like I said, why would you want to put extra money out there that you really don't have to, just for a certain design? Silver, it's all the same. As long as it says .999, you're good to go. And with the 90% stuff, it's just 1964 and earlier. Your dimes, your quarters, your halves, silver dollars. But the only thing I will say, when it comes to your nickels, your 35% war nickels, those were only years 42 to 45. So, and you can notice those real easy, because on the reverse, where it's got the Monticello, the building on the back, right above that will be the mint mark, P, D, or S. That lets you know you got a 35% war nickel. But other than that, your coins are 90% silver, and that's what I would advise. And if anybody was wondering, how many dimes should I get for economic collapse, That's kind of a hard question for me to answer. But my personal goal, not to say that I'm going to quit once I reach this goal, but a goal I want to achieve as quick as possible, and that'd be 1,000 dimes. That'd be 20 rolls. So if you can do that for as cheap as possible, I think you'll be set pretty good for an economic collapse. So just, like I said, buy what you can afford. I know a lot of you got families out there, kids, a wife, whatever. So you can't put all your money into it. But whatever you can afford each payday, put it into silver, your cheapest form, and you won't go wrong. I mean, I don't know anybody that's really lost money in silver. I mean, don't expect to be able to, buy it on a Monday, sell it on a Tuesday. It just doesn't work that way. This is for long term. And if you want to sell any silver anywhere, I mean, I wouldn't advise selling anything right now. But if you had to, then I would sell maybe a 10-ounce bar if you had one. Or, if you really need the cash, you can sell some 1-ounce rounds. But at all costs, try your best to keep your 90% silver. That way you'll be protected in the economic collapse. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's best to be prepared and it not happen than for it to happen and you not be prepared. So I would just advise getting all the silver dimes you can afford, get them at the best price possible, and I think you'll feel a lot safer and you'll be able to sleep a lot better at night knowing that you're protected. So if anybody's got any questions or comments, feel free to leave me one below, and if you want to subscribe to my channel, that's fine. I'm not out here begging for subscribers or anything, but if you feel like subscribing or just want to send me an inbox message, feel free to do so. Thanks.